Hi, welcome to Blindowl Outdoors. We hope you enjoy our channel, and if possible, could you please join our Patreon page? We really need your help. It's been a long, hard road. Thank you. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Dan. I'm sitting here in the Philippines on the Island of Bohol, up near a town called Talaboon. Been a hot afternoon, so I'm sitting in my car relaxing a little bit and sucking up the air conditioning. Got a couple jokes for you, maybe you'll enjoy. First one is a real religious lady goes to a pet store to buy a parrot. Everything's going fine until she gets home, and then the parrot just starts swearing uncontrollably. F this, F that, F you. And finally the lady couldn't take it anymore. So she grabbed the bird, threw it in the freezer, and slammed the door shut. And all she could hear is the parrot going crazy in there, screeching and squeaking and swearing and let me out, blah, 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 stuff like that. Then all of a sudden everything got totally quiet, and she got worried that maybe she hurt the parrot or something. So she opened the door up, and then slowly the parrot walked out of the freezer and then gently walked up onto her hand and said, ma'am, I'm sorry if my language offended you. It'll never happen again. Can I ask one question? What did that chicken do? A young man is walking through a small village one day and decides to stop at a bar and have a beer. He walks into a bar and sees a grizzled old man crying into his beer. Curious, the young man sits down and says, "Hey, old timer, why the long face?" The old man looked at him and points out the window and said, "You see that dock out there? I built that with my 2 hands, plank by plank, nail by nail. But do they call me Schmitty the Carpenter? No, no." The man continued and said, "See that ship out there? I've been fishing these waters for 35 years for this village. Do they call me Schmitty the Fisherman? No, no. And see all those crops out in those fields? I planted and have been farming all my life, but do they call me Schmitty the Farmer? No, no." The old man starts crying again. "But you screw one goat." A man walks into a bar and sees meat hanging from the ceiling. Curious, he asks the bartender, "Why is all that meat up there?" The bartender grins and explains, "We've got a bet. If you can jump up and hit any of those meat pieces, your drinks are on the house for the entire night. But if you miss, you have to cover everyone's tab." The bartender asks, "Want to give it a try?" The man replied, "No, I don't think so. The stakes are too high." A cop pulls over a car with 2 priests. The cop approaches the window and says, "We're looking for 2 child molesters." The priests look at each other and back at the cop and say, "We'll do it." My friend Jerry told me he was ambivalent because he can eat with either hand. I said, "I think you mean ambidextrous." He said, "No, ambivalent. I can't decide which one to use." I was in the city the other day and a woman came up to me and said, "Hey, did you used to have shorter hair?" I said, "Yeah, that's how it works." Have you noticed when they're paving or resurfacing the roads, they stop at the bridges and then start on the other side. I was wondering what was going on, so I called the highway department, just to find out. I'm on the phone and ask, hey, why is it you are resurfacing the highway and come to a bridge, you stop, then start back up on the other side? What's with that? He said, hold on a second. And in the background, I heard, hey, they forgot the bridge again. What kind of flowers grow on your face? Tulips. Something to say to some idiot. I don't have the time or the crayons to explain that to you. I'll never forget the first time we met, but I will keep trying. Your family tree must be a cactus because you're all a bunch of pricks. Remember when I asked for your opinion? Me neither. Someday you'll go far, and I hope you stay there. I understood everything you said. I'm just choosing to ignore you. You are the human version of kidney stones. You're the reason God invented the middle finger, created the middle finger. The FDA just approved new medication for lesbians with depression. It's called tricoxagon. About a month ago, some kids in my neighborhood were playing hide and go seek, and one of them ended up in an abandoned refrigerator. It was all everybody talked about for weeks. I said, who cares? How many kids do you know get to die a winter? What do you call a lesbian on fire? An LGBTQ. How do you make an idiot say how? You're supposed to say how back to you. I want to hang a map of the world in my house, then put a pin in every location I travel to. But first I need to travel to the top two corners of the map so it won't fall down. Whenever I think of the past, it just brings back so many memories. What's the best part of dating a homeless girl? You can drop her off anywhere. Tough to find a woman you can trust. I was going with one girl and she let me down. What happened was she ran away with my best friend. Now I got no dog. How do blind people know when they're done wiping their ass? Dale Carnegie said, when life hands you lemons, make lemonade. I think that is where they came up with spam. Somebody gave somebody a pig's ass and said, see what you can do with this and make sure you need a key to get in. Stockbridge, Georgia. A tiger was chasing a dog down an alley and was shot and killed. They had no idea where the tiger came from or where the dog got the gun. I told a couple jokes in town, and a lady laughed so hard milk came out of her breasts. That's not the funny part. The guy next to her was lactose intolerant. Here's the good news, bad news. Here's the bad news. A golfer in California drove his golf cart 175 yards over a cliff. The good news, It was his longest drive of the day. Mickey Mouse gets a call from his lawyer. He says, Mickey, I'm sorry you can't divorce Minnie just because she's extremely funny. Mickey says, I didn't say she was funny. I said she was fucking goofy. Some people are dumber than a second coat of paint. My wife was going through old boxes of clothes and said, after 20 years, this still fits. I said, honey, that's a scarf. My wife has the water sign. I have the earth sign. Together we make mud. Atheism is a non-profit organization. I can only please one person per day, and today isn't your day. Tomorrow isn't looking very good either. Here's a stupid one. A magician was driving down the street, then he turned into a driveway. Two snowmen were standing in a field. One said to the other one, funny, I smell carrots too. A guy walks with a young boy into the woods. The boy turns to him and says, hey, mister, it's getting dark and I'm really scared. The man replies, how do you think I feel? I have to walk back alone. A man with a gun goes into a bank and demands money. Once he's given the money, he turns to a customer and asks, did you see me rob the bank? Thanks for watching. Take care.